Okay, my friends, today we are going to look at the differences between the EJ22E and the EJ251, 223, 251, 223, 253, all that jazz. There's a major difference. It happened around 1998. They went to a valve cover that looks like that, right? And the head bolts are inside underneath the valve cover. The EJ22E is a little bit different. You can see the valve cover shaped differently. The head bolts are on the outside. It's only got 3 bolts. This is single overhead cam. These are reliable. The EJ253, 223 is a little bit better, but all in all, they're not reliable, and I'll show you why. I mean, you can see the exhaust manifold. There's not a whole lot of carbon. You can see the combustion chambers. There's not a whole lot of carbon. I have a head right over here. I believe we can take a look at it. Did I clean it? I cleaned it, but you can even see you see the carbon right there. And I'll show you the reason why. I haven't ever had to take an EJ22E apart because they don't use oil. They went to this chrome moly ring, and you can look real closely. You can see that it's got smooth edges on both sides. The rings that they put in, they started using when they went to the 253, 223, 257, all that. They used those cheap chrome moly rings, and they never cut into the cylinder wall. You have to have your rings cut into the cylinder wall so that they seat. Let me get a flashlight and I can show you that on that cylinder wall, if you look closely, you don't see many hone marks. There's a few little hash marks in there, but for the most part, you see little scratches up and down where the rings cut in and they seated. That's why you don't see the little hash marks. If you look in here on an engine that has 100,000 miles and you see these hone marks, like that right there, those scratches, spiral scratches from the factory, if you see them and they're predominant, that means that you've got cheap-ass rings. I think I threw my box away, but what I do on the EJ253s and the 223s is I take the pistons completely out, replace the pistons, and put Hastings cast iron rings in. Now, the number 1 ring will be cast iron. The number 2 ring... No, correction. The number 1 ring will be chrome moly coated. Number 2 ring will be cast iron, and it will actually cut into that cylinder wall, and you'll seal. And you can actually see there's just a little bit of a ring groove there, or a lip. That's nothing to be concerned about. You probably, if you were to take these pistons out, you'd polish that out real good, and the pistons would come out. You wouldn't have to cut the ridge ream out of it. You wouldn't have to have a ridge reamer and cut the ridge out of it. It should just polish out. But again, EJ22E, right? We don't take the pistons out. There's no need. We're not burning any oil. The only problem is the head gaskets, and that's these guys right here. These are just the single layered gaskets that's got this coating on them, right? And that is no bueno. These head gaskets are no good. You want to get a laminated head gasket. It'll have like a rubber on the top and a rubber on the bottom and a steel in the middle, and you can actually peel the layers apart and see them brand new. That's just the way they're designed. Order yourself a Felpro, and that's what they come in. Anyway, this guy's going to get cleaned up. I don't think this engine's ever been apart other than maybe once to take the head gaskets, change the head gaskets. But kind of from the looks of it, I don't even know that it's been out of the car. They might have changed the head gaskets in the chassis, but that's something that I won't do. We'll get this all cleaned up. We need a front main seal because somebody put like 6 quarts of oil in it. And some quality head gaskets. It'll go back together, and this thing should be good for another couple 100,000 miles after putting a timing kit and a water pump. That's another thing about any of the Subaru engines. Don't ever gamble on that stupid water pump. I've gambled several times on those things, and I've always failed. I put the thing back together, rolling the dice, and that son of a gun's got a drip. So always just go ahead and put a water pump in it. You don't always have to put the idlers in, but definitely a new timing belt and a new water pump, and check your tensioner. This has got the old style. You see the 2 bolt holes right there. That's for the old style piston. It doesn't have the rocker on it. Anyway, it's a very good design. The EJ22E is, in my opinion, the best engine that Subaru made. But anything after 98 into 99 and definitely above 2000, just do a transplant. Just do a transplant on the damn thing. You got to swap the wiring harness out of the intake manifold. And these guys right here, you have to trade the wires on the injectors because they're backwards on the connection. You just cut the wires and wire in these guys. The triangle deal sets backwards on the newer ones, so just use these old injectors, cut the wires, and splice them into your wiring harness on your EJ223 intake manifold harness. You have to use the EJ22E harness, but you wire the injectors in on these guys and cut the EJ253 injector connections off and wire these connections on, and you will be good to go. I hope this helped out. If you have any questions, post them.